Hey, Claire.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Yeah, really good, really good.
Good.
A lovely week
Good.
in sunny
Nice.
Wales, which people who know Wales probably won't believe because it's
Oh,
known for being rainy. It's the west of
um,
the UK. So,
mm.
but it
Well,
wasn't.
I
It was lovely.
I saw one of the pictures and it was pretty phenomenal. Yeah, looked beautiful.
So,
Lovely. Yeah.
so
This
you have
is
a word, or don't
I
you?
have I have a number of words. It's interesting
Hmm.
because they kept coming up as more like situations or, that kind of thing. So, yeah. So I would love to explore the nature of arguments.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, because I have a few of those, so I can definitely speak to that. Maybe not with the intensity that I used to do, but I'd maybe call them disagreements rather than arguments.
Yeah.
But I definitely have some. Yeah, there's something that is coming. The word opposition kind of comes up. It starts with. Does it just start with the concept of separate realities, where my world looks like this, and the other person's world looks completely different, and then there's a butting of heads against each other. And I guess most of the time we don't notice, or most people don't notice, I don't notice when it's happening to me, that we're feeling pretty awful in those disagreements, arguments. And we generally think that that will be resolved by the other person, well, seeing it the way we see it, I think, isn't it? Like, if they only saw it the way I did, it'd all be fine. Really would. And I definitely see that in some key relationships in my life, where it just looks like if this person just saw it differently, they would stop doing what they're doing completely, and then my life would be wonderful. That kind of thing. But I think we don't. What the issue is, isn't it, that we don't realize mostly in those moments that awful feeling that looks like the only way to resolve it is for the other person to just back down and do what we want them to do, or agree with us in whatever way. We think that feeling is coming from them, and from the thing they're saying or doing or whatever it is, and it never is. It's an indicator of our state of mind. And I heard once somebody else in our community talking about this and saying that they'd they'd kind of spoken to their teenage daughter about this way of seeing how the mind works and how reality is created, and they agreed, her and her daughter agreed, that when they sat down to talk, that they wouldn't quite have a safe word, but they would have this sense of, if either of them felt themselves going out of kilter, that either of them felt themselves feeling wound up or feeling not being in a nice feeling anymore, that they would agree that it was okay to say, I'm aware that my state of mind is off right now. So can we just take a break, and not to come back together again and discuss the issue again until they were calm. And I quite liked that idea. I don't think we'll always remember to do it, but it's back to self-awareness, isn't it? It's back to being aware that in the middle of an argument, when we're feeling discomfort, that's about us, and therefore we need to look after ourselves, not the other person. It looks like we need to look after them, as in, when I say look after them, I mean make them do as they're told or agree with us. But actually, we need to look after ourselves in those moments, because it's really coming from us,
Yeah.
the uncomfortable feeling.
Yeah.
So what's your sort of experience around this, or what are you seeing around it?
Yeah. Well, a number of things. And it was mostly like internal arguments because I too, like, I was surprised at this word argument, and it came up not too long before, earlier this morning. And it's just like, well, why would I do argument? Because like, who do I really argue with? I don't really argue. And it's like, oh, well, yeah, I think maybe I do at times. And the only time that I would kind of consider it an argument is when it's getting heated, where the energy of both are rising up. And there is usually there's like a natural point. And I'm not going to say tipping point. This is interesting because I think in the past, a few years ago, there might have been more like a tipping point, like something had to happen before it to break. And now there's the tipping point, there's no tipping. There's just, it's like a realization that, oh, just, I believe it's just being more conscious of more, you use the word self-aware, and that's like being conscious of, getting more in touch with what's happening in your senses, in your body, in your feelings. So there's a rising up. It's almost like we have one of those kettles that you can say what temperature it goes to. So it's like the safe word. I love the idea that they have a safe or an indicator that they use to keep it at a certain point. So I can set my tea kettle to 90 degrees. I like that. And when it hits that, it's just like, oh, then it shuts off, and then all the bubbles calm down, and I there's the more aware that you are of what's happening within your own system, and finding that the point of, it's like, oh, right, I'm reachable, I'm hot enough. And it's not like even hot enough. It's just like, I'm getting hot. Oh, yeah, I don't need to. So yeah, totally there is this, we're always striving to feel better. And we believe that there's a better feeling in you agree with me, and then I can feel better. Come on board. Come on. Don't you see my way? Let me show you how this is true. This is real. Yeah. It's funny, argument, like when I think about this and putting words like opposition to it, it's like, that's exactly what it is. And within ourselves, like probably where I will, if I could call it an argument, it's in my own head. And what I see that opposition that's happening at times within me, it's like, oh, there's this, me, that my spirit wanting to be, it's natural, wanting to be in this way. And then there's this other part that's taking some information from somewhere and saying, but no, what about this? And pressing it up against and causing this back and forth. We might call it second guessing even. Where there's this, and then there's, a rationalization. There's all kinds of things that happen in there, whether it's with another human being or in our own mind. Yeah, I kind of see that. I mean, we're always in relationship with our own thinking. That's it. We're never in relationship with anything else but our own thoughts. So the opposition is only happening within our own being, within our own thoughts, our own mind. Yeah.
Yeah, I love what you said there about only being in a relationship with our own thinking. Because we're not ever really in a relationship with another person or their opinions or what they're doing, are we? Because how we see them is created by us anyway. the fact that we even think they're wrong and we're right, which is my default position as a rule. Not afraid to admit it. That we just not, that's not real, is it? It's just an illusion, really, that even there is another person who sees the world different to us. We've made them up. And I've really seen that myself with some relationships where it seems that once I saw that it was my state of mind that was the issue in my interactions with this person, it became, I started to communicate in a less argumentative way, really. Most of these communications were via message rather than via, rather than in person. But I have started to see that when I communicate with that person from a place of calm, from a place of keeping it very simple, from a place of just expressing that, there are some wants that, as opposed to needs, which is what I used to think there were, and there are some wants that I want to express to this person. But the way I do that now has transformed. And then as a result, when I communicate from that calmer place, the result is actually, bizarrely, something that becomes more aligned, like more of a win-win, as Stephen Covey would say back in the day, from the 7 Habits book that I read many, many years ago. But there is more of a win-win situation. When I communicate from that place of calm, from that place of clarity, from that place of wisdom, really. So there's been a bubbling issue in the last few days, and I'd kind of gone in quite hard, and then I just left it for a bit, and then I think we were just driving home from Wales the other day, and I just had this really calm feeling, and then just knew what I needed to say to express how the decision this person had made was, what the consequences of it were going to be, but really clearly and really simply. And the response was that she then changed what she'd planned to do. And it wasn't really sent with an aim to change it. It was just sent with an aim of, can we just clarify that this is what you're wanting us to do in this situation, and that this will be the consequences of that, of you wanting to do that. Can you just, we don't really need to reply, just reply yes to say that you're agreeing that this is what will happen, because we've then got to make plans around what you're saying. And that's not what happened. She replied and said, oh no, actually, let's not do that, because that doesn't look so good. And it just, when we're calm, we communicate, we actually get, I don't want to say a better result, because that sounds a bit like manipulative, but that other people come back at us in a better place.
Yeah.
But then there's almost like an equalizing out of things, or a balancing out of things, and then I say, the win-win tends to be more likely.
Yeah, absolutely. That totally makes sense to me. And before we jumped on the call, we were talking about homeopathic remedies, and how they work is like heals like. Heals like, and that is how the universe works as well, right? What we get what we put out. We attract what we put out. There's this vibrational match. That's kind of what the homeopathic thing is. There's a vibration to it. So that makes total sense to me when you said that, when you came to offer something in a calm and clear manner, there was nothing on it. It was just stating how it was. And then that invited back the same, the same tone, I suppose, a response. Yeah, that's very cool. Very cool.
So I wonder how that plays out with this, what you were saying about the internal argument. How do we Where's the win-win there? Because I can totally relate to that. I had an argument with myself yesterday morning about whether I should shave my legs or not. I posted about it on LinkedIn because I actually do epilating, which is much more painful. But I could feel this because we've been away and I had a lot to do. Or I felt like I had a lot to do yesterday. But I really wanted to sort my legs out because they're a bit hairy, Michaela. But I could feel this anxiety, like this feeling of urgency about how I didn't really have time to do that because I wanted to like do my legs and do a bit of an exfoliate and a moisturize and all that kind of stuff. And it was stupid o'clock in the morning because, as you know, I'm always up at stupid o'clock in the morning. And I had loads of time. It was ridiculous to think that I didn't have, but I could feel this like feeling of urgency. You've got too much to do. You haven't got time to do that, you know, and I guess that, but then I saw that feeling in the moment. I saw, oh, that's the really unhelpful part of me that thinks I need to be working stupid amount of time and that I've got all this thing to do and I'm thinking about it all at once and then I'm getting overwhelmed and actually that's nothing to do with me dealing with my legs right now. And so I kind of put that feeling to one side and you know, did what I needed to do in terms of self-care. So that's where that will come up for me is, you know, intuition says do this thing. And my noisy head says, oh, you haven't got time for that. You can't do that. You're going to look stupid or whatever else it might do. And then there's this uncomfortable feeling, which we then think is telling us about the thing that we're guided to do. It's not really. It's telling us that we're overthinking why we shouldn't be doing the thing we're guided to do. So they're my kind of internal. And then it's just, for me, then it's about understanding the feeling, what it's really saying. And once you see that, I think then you do the thing that's intuition led or guided. How do you see that?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because what I kind of realized that when we're in opposition with another human being, there's this whole other physical thing that we kind of see that it's out there. It seems outside of us. So it can almost seem that, and of course it's not, we're only experiencing what's coming up from within our own mind. However, I think that because we have this other, you know, concept out here, that we might catch it a little quicker of what's going on because there's all this other stimulus or seeming other stimulus. So when it's in our own mind, it's like we can carry on, like, who knows? Like, not everyone will know. People who know us really well will know when, wow, she's got a lot going on in her mind. But if we're on our own, we could be carrying on doing all kinds of things and not, it's like here's my question though, like, do you notice, if we're looking at that tea kettle that has, you can set the temperature, do you notice that the temperature comes quicker where it shuts off? Because that is what I noticed, that the internal, it'll stop quicker. I'll catch it quicker. And so I do notice that, but what's happening there? Really, what I see simply is that, we're this spiritual being wanting to be, in a way, freedom. Like, that's kind of our nature, right? Is just to express and be free. And then we have this logical side, this side that is meant to keep order in things and make sure we get to appointments on time and make sure we, can learn how to manage tech and all of that, comes in with what it knows, like, of logic, I suppose, and comes in and sort of tries and lays it over top. It's just like, what about this? Like, aren't you? And it's like, freedom, no, how about this? There might freedom, you know, and there's this just our natural urge to have the peace and calm and to have the freedom. Because where does that come? It comes when we can truly just be who we are without opposition. As soon as there's opposition, then it's just like there's this friction, because it's like it's you're saying that I can't be who I am.
Mm.
Mm.
And we feel that opposition, don't we?
Sure do.
Physically.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable. And I guess that's all we've got, really. Like, I think that for me that's what interests me about all the tools and techniques you can do to get rid of your feelings, when I kind of think, wow, aren't we lucky to have this guidance system that's letting us know how trustworthy our thinking is. And what you were saying before about like the kettle boiling or almost seeming to boil at a lower temperature, I would say my tolerance of it all is a lot lower. So I think the awareness comes on quicker. So like the feeling this yesterday morning about the leg shaving issue, I think in the past I would have not have even had particular feeling. I would have just carried on and not done it. And I wouldn't have even been aware that there was anything there. But that yesterday morning, I really was aware of this feeling of urgency. Before, I would have just followed the feeling of urgency and just ignored, you know, had a very quick shower and cracked on with what I thought I needed to do. But I was much more aware, and I felt the physicality of it, of this kind of urgent, buzzy, anxious sort of feeling that seemed to be saying rush, rush, rush. But I kind of went, oh, hello, you know, that I can feel that. I know that's a lie. I don't need to rush, rush. It's like 6 o'clock in the morning. Where do I think I'm going? Wherever I'm going to go there with smooth legs, I thought. But I think almost, and I think I've heard Michael Neal say this as well, but it's like a reduced tolerance of it. I never used to experience much anxiety, and now it's very short-lived, but I do have much more of a buzzy feeling when I'm on the wrong, when I'm kind of going the wrong way, I suppose, when my intellect is trying to push me down a wrong path. I feel that much more strongly now than I ever used to.
Yeah.
Because I think I was just in it, so in it before that I couldn't see it. And I've also heard Clare Diamond say that people who go on her courses often have a heightened experience of their symptoms as they start to learn this. The symptoms become extremely intense.
Yes.
Because
sorry, go ahead.
No, because the sort of moving away from it all is there's a piece of us kind of going, no, it's not safe.
Yeah. Well, what that reminded me of was when I first, you know, really started to get grounded in this understanding of what I am and how and what I'm actually experiencing. And it was just a few months in, and I remember just feeling like, oh my gosh, how am I going to live with, like, in this world, even with my family? Because they weren't of this understanding. So it was still, and you know that it can only come from within me, right? But I remember I started to become very, very aware of blaming and criticizing and complaining, and everything just felt so prickly. Everything felt so sharp. And then, you know, so yeah, my tolerance, absolutely. I didn't have to get up to 90 degrees or 100 degrees to shut off. It's just like, oh, okay, this is, and then it was like a retreat. So it was actually, it's a relief to know that you're only experiencing what you are thinking. Not always, because I forget a lot. But when I remember, it's like, oh, phew, I'm making that. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. I think maybe that's a lovely place to stop, isn't
To
it? Just
close.
that relief of knowing your own ever feeling,
Yes.
thinking. It's
Yeah.
life-changing,
It
isn't
is
it?
lovely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although, can we end on one other note? Because I just want to
Of
confirm
course.
this. You say the word buzzy. Is that bossy? Like, is it as
No,
if bossing you
buzzy,
around?
buzzy as in fizzy, almost like fizzy, physically fizzy.
Buzzy.
Yeah, buzzy, like, you know, when you feel
Okay.
it, like
Good.
a buzzy,
Yeah.
fizzy feeling in your body.
Yeah. Good.
My
Okay.
way of describing it, really. I suppose that's how a lot of people would describe anxiety.
Yeah.
Kind of
That's good.
body just feels a bit not shaky in a kind of way, but just
Yeah.
kind of, yeah,
Right.
fizzy feeling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, bossy would have fit too, because I did. It's just like, oh, a bossy feeling. Okay. It's
Yeah.
like it's bossing her around. Okay. All right. And it's like, I don't know
Yeah.
if that's what she's saying. Let me just
Yeah.
clarify.
The intellect does seem quite bossy sometimes. Maybe that's another really good like thing to be aware of, that if that voice in your head sounds bossy,
Mm, yeah.
it's to be taken with a really large pinch of salt, I think. You know, it's not going to be helpful. You know,
Yeah.
our insights and our connection to intuition doesn't ever sound bossy, does it? The
Yeah.
truth of who we are isn't bossy. It's much more gentle than that.
Yeah.
So
It's
that's something
leading,
else.
inspiring. It's lovely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something else to watch out for then. Bring awareness to is that
Yeah.
it is bossy. That
Yeah.
was cool.
Thank you, Claire.
Thank
Yeah.
you. It's been an absolute
Fun.
pleasure as
Yeah.
always.
With you
We'll talk
too.
again soon. Take care.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Ciao.